Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania is the Marvel movie with the second worst Rotten Tomatoes. This movie did worse than Thor: The Dark World, Iron Man 2, She-Hulk, The Incredible Hulk, and according to top critics on Rotten Tomatoes, this movie is 1% better than Eternals. To that, I say that Quantumania is, in fact, indeed, the best movie in Phase 5 so far. I'm really hoping that Guardians 3 will take that spot, but it hasn't released yet, so James Gunn, please do well with this one. I went into the theaters knowing the reviews were very mixed. Rotten Tomatoes was 47%, which I assume might be the critics just being dumb, like in the reviews to Road to El Dorado or something. However, the audience score was 83%, but that could just be audiences being too nice on this movie just to balance out the stupid critics, so I dismissed that as well. So I checked IMDb, 6.6, which was decent, but Letterboxd said that this movie was 2.8 stars, so I clearly couldn't get a good consensus. So I just walked in with the thought that this would be the most boring and ugly movie. Was I right? Well, what I got was a very flawed movie, for sure. But for all of its flaws, the good stuff isn't just good. It's like some of the best in the entire MCU. Like, that might be a huge statement or something, but there is a lot of good stuff in this movie to balance out the stuff that I don't like. So that makes me very mixed on the actual product of the movie. It's definitely not one of my favorites. Hell, I would rather watch Ant-Man 1 or Ant-Man 2 over it. I think it is the worst Ant-Man movie. Actually, it might be better than Ant-Man 2. But even while recording this video, my thoughts on the movie are changing as I am speaking, which just sums up my thoughts on the movie perfectly. I struggle with my thoughts on this movie so much because the war between the good elements and the bad elements of this movie are just clashing with each other all the time, and I just can't properly say that it is a good movie despite all of its great elements. So I will start this discussion by talking about stuff that's in the teaser trailers or non-spoiler stuff, like the general idea of Act 1, Act 2. But if you really want to go into this movie blind, then you should not watch this video. I don't think if it's any big secret, but oh my lordy lord, this movie is so ugly. It's so obvious that so many of their shots is just green screened. And, like, I bet my 7-year-old brother could spot it. It's that obvious. And when this entire movie being green screen, it's not really a huge issue for me, but it is for some other people. Like, I saw this review on Letterboxd that perfectly sums up my thoughts. It says, "Do they know that cinema is a visual medium?" And I'm like, you said it. But at the same time, it's not that big of an issue because the actual, like, what they put in wasn't that bad. Like, the actual Quantumania world doesn't look horrible the entire time. And I like Kang's headquarters place. So it's not the worst looking movie in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I mean, like, She-Hulk is a TV show that has worse visuals. So, good job, Quantumania. You're officially beating She-Hulk by my standards. Additionally to the bad visuals, I just don't remember laughing at this movie once. I think I got a chuckle or two in the beginning, and like occasionally there's a pretty funny joke, but this movie just isn't as funny as the first two Ant-Mans. The other two Ant-Mans have plenty of good laughs. There's also a butt joke, which they also do in Thor: Love and Thunder, so that's not good. But the movie's not unfunny. I don't remember like cringing, except at the stupid mucus thing. The actual concept of the movie, where do I start with this movie? It's so messy with all the new characters that it introduces, but at the center there's this strong plot line. The first 5 minutes, in my opinion, were exceptionally strong. Besides Far From Home, this is probably the most interesting post endgame scenario like thing that we've gotten. It's nice seeing the three generations of the family interact, and seeing Hope interact with her mom is also nice, and Ant-Man and Cassie are also doing well, even if I don't like Cassie. I like how Ant-Man just wants to settle in while Cassie thinks there's more that we can do for the world. And I'm pretty on board with the story, and we're already going to the strange world. I mean Quantumania. Straight off the bat, like even watching the teaser trailers, I wasn't the biggest fan of the new direction that they for some reason wanted to change the quantum realm into. I really digged like the ethereal yet mysterious yet like deathly looking area of the first two quantum realms. It was neat, especially the kaleidoscopic view that the first one takes is really cool. And sometimes I wish they had gone with that, and it's kind of disappointing just seeing this strange world looking like thing in PG-13. Isn't that fun? No, it's not that fun. It's not boring, but you could be doing so much more with the quantum realm. And with this movie just kind of, I want to say, frustrates me beyond all reason because of what it decides to do with its runtime. Like I said before, the first 5 minutes is really good. I like it. But we get to this strange world and they're immediately split up already to two groups. Hope, Hank, and the mom, whose name I forgot. And we also have Ant-Man and Cassie. And I like these teams. Like, these are characters we never seen interact that much. So it's nice to finally get a whole movie dedicated to them. So there's two plot lines throughout this entire movie. So even if I'm not on board with one, I can at least get engaged with the other one, because the time is divided pretty equally until the third act. So let's start with Ant-Man's plotline. Ant-Man and Cassie are together, and they come across this wacky village with this like leader woman and this actually really cool looking robot dude, and they are being harassed by quote unquote him, but we all know it's Kang because he was in the teaser trailers, so we're just on our seats waiting for him to come up. But this leader woman is just a weaker version of Valkyrie, and she doesn't even get much of a payoff. And there's also this like seer who can like look into your mind, and he's kind of pointless as well. He just has like one gag, and that's all they do with him. And there's also this stupid mucus who makes ooze that lets you understand the quantum realm. Actually, that's pretty creative. Like, it settles the language border issue between the quantum realm and Earth. But this mucus character is annoying, but he's inoffensive. He's in the movie for like less than a minute. So much characters are established in this Ant-Man and Cassie plotline, only to like not have any payoff later, so that sucks. And in the other plotline, Hank, Hope, and the mom are just trying to look for Ant-Man and Cassie. That's the entirety of their plotline. And actually the mom really gets to shine out in this movie because of how she wasn't in the first Ant-Man movie. She was barely in the second one and gets immediately snapped after. She gets to stand out in this one because of her experience in the quantum realm. And she knows about quote-unquote him, which is obviously Kang, because Kang was in the teaser trailers. By the way, let's talk about Kang. Like, everybody knew about Kang, right? He was in the teaser trailers. That was the selling point. That was the entire reason why I watched this movie. Kang is easily the best part of this movie. He's very well built up to, but I feel like it would have been even better if he was a surprise. Like, we could have MODOK in the trailers like But Kang being a surprise would have been like the most jaw-dropping thing to be in like any MCU movie, and the fact that they had to use this as a selling point for Ant-Man Quantumania kind of speaks about how Kang is carrying the entire movie. Speaking of MODOK, who was also in the trailers, he is the ugliest part of the entire movie. I cannot believe they thought this was worthy to put in theaters. He's a joke. He's a huge joke. Ant-Man and Cassie literally make jokes about how stupid he is, because that's what he is, a joke. MODOK, which is apparently a mechanism only designed for killing, barely kills, which sucks. He is just the guy from the first Ant-Man movie, and he just the whole entire movie keeps taking digs at him, which is annoying. And before I wrap up this non-spoiler section, I want to talk about Cassie for a bit, who is really annoying. Like, there's this part at the village where Cassie's like, "Oh yeah, we can help you. We're best of friends." Like, no, you're not. Like, you know nothing about the quote-unquote him, which is obviously Kang because he was in the teaser trailers. And Cassie insists to her dad, that they can help them. But I think Ant-Man has a good point. Like, you don't know anything about the him, which is obviously Kang. So I don't agree with Cassie at all in like any scenario, and I just wanted her to lose whatever battle she was in, and I thought it was funny when she got hurt by Kang. So yeah, Cassie's the worst part of this entire movie, and she reminds me of Skylar White. No, don't at me. You know, despite everything I say ill of this movie, I still have so much about it that I enjoy. Like Kang. Kang is the best part. He carries the entire movie. He makes the movie worth watching. And with that in mind, I have something I have to say. I like how the mom has conflicts and relationships with Kang. That is really cool. Like, I thought Kang was just something they threw in just to make the movie better and actually important, but no, they actually decided to make it interesting. So apparently Kang got stranded with the mom for like a couple of years, and they tried to rebuild his spaceship, which was apparently his core, but through wacky plot development, the mom sees what Kang has done, and turns against him, and causes him, like, accidentally gives him back his powers, which is really cool. Like, I just thought they were gonna have no personal connection, like the villain in Pocahontas or something. And that is something I really like about the first villain. You know what I don't like? The second villain. Like I said before, MODOK is an absolute joke, and I have so much fun making fun of his design because of how bad it is. Like, in the final scene, Cassie, and I quote, tells MODOK to stop being, well, a meanie head, just to keep it PG. And MODOK said, "Oh no, I don't want to be a meanie head anymore," and then stalls Kang for like 1 second and dies afterwards. And I was laughing inside. It was hilariously bad. But since MODOK is a side character, like a side villain in this movie, I can get behind him having a really weird and not important death scene at all. Like, okay. And in the third act, like, they tried so hard to make Hank useful that it was absolutely hysterical. Like, they just decided to summon the ants that were established for like 2 seconds in the opening 5 minutes, and then like they acted like it was some big payoff or something. It was so hilarious that I don't know how hard they tried to make Hank useful. Like, I think the guy should be dead by now. Like, he lived a pretty crisp life. I'm sorry. Hank just had nothing to do in this movie, and I just think it was really funny that they tried to make him important. Okay, at least they tried. It's not like where they just knew that Korg and Valkyrie had nothing to do with Thor: Love and Thunder. They tried, so I will give them that. So, in conclusion, is Ant-Man Quantumania good? It's so hard to say because it's so flawed, but it has very good elements. And I think it's a good introductory movie to Quantumania. I know Loki technically introduced Kang, but nobody cares. A very good introductory movie. And the bad visuals, the random twists in the third act, and the absence of Lewis sours the experience overall. Like, seriously, where was Lewis? Like, Lewis could have made the movie 10 times more funnier. So I'll give it a 5 out of 10. But just because Lewis is not in this movie, I have to take off a full point. So it gets a 4 out of 10. But since Kang is so good, he can raise the score by a full point. So it averages out to a 5 out of 10. Marvel, keep in mind that you would have gotten a 6 out of 10 if you just added Lewis. Where is Lewis? Did I miss something? Did he die? Did he snap? He might have been snapped, but Endgame's over now. He can come back. Did the writers just forget about him?